Alec, welcome back to Survivor Palau, baby.
Yo,
Knew it had to come down to this. Knew
Janu, you had it.
to
Janu
be
had
this
him.
way.
Yeah,
The writing was on the wall for Janu, wasn't it?
the writing was on the wall, and it's just another way to die for Janu.
Well,
At this Skyfall, but it's no time to die when you think about it.
Right.
Sorry, you said writings on the wall, so I just went through all the Daniel Craig, James Bond. But you know her name. You know her name. No, the song is
Quantum
actually is the song. Is this no? The song is called.
I don't know.
The song is called "Another Way to Die."
Oh.
In that one, yeah, it's not called "Quantum of Solace." I don't know if the song in Goldeneye is called Goldeneye. It might be. I don't remember. Anyway,
there's a cover by Nicole Scherzinger that was done for the Goldeneye Wii video game.
how do you know that? How do you know that information just off the top of your head? What was that?
I remember at the time there was so much hype around Goldeneye. I was hyped for Goldeneye on Wii, and then I did play it, and I really thought the intro was badass. And it was Nicole Scherzinger, Pussycat Dolls.
Oh, okay. Total babe. She's total babe. Well, so Janu is gone, but it was in a very most dramatic fashion because she's gone of her own accord, not being voted out.
On her own terms. Damn it.
She went out on her own terms, like Austin went on her own terms.
She quit of her own volition. Thank you very much.
She did. Yeah.
Okay, Queen, we stand.
We know we don't. We don't really. Not really. We stand a quitter.
She did die so that Stephanie could live another day. So let's see if she can make something of it here. All eyes are going to be on Stephanie coming into this episode, right?
Oh, big time, yeah. I mean, she kind of avoided the chopping block. It was a very dramatic tribal council.
Yeah, emotional.
Yeah, emotional. Things get heated.
And it's like philosophy of the game coming into play too. It's like deserving. Is someone deserving? Why should we keep someone who doesn't want to be here, or someone who really wants to be here?
That's a big. I think that's going to be the. When I mean, you can tell in editing that is what they want. Some of the emotion of the tension of the season, at least at this point, for it to be. I think that's going to be a big talking point continuing forward. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it really was a whole Janu episode. It was like we had gotten only so little of Janu so far the season, and it was just like hints of her like being mopey and not feeling it. And then now it's just a full-on Janu episode and
Janu's story, basically, yeah. And how she's like, Janu was like, because she was taken aback at the last tribal council. She didn't realize that Kobe would be going. She thought it was her. And then they were all making fun of her. And then she was like, hey, stop doing that. And then they were like, shut up. You're overreacting. And I was like, okay.
There's a lot in that episode, really. A lot of downs for Janu, but
a lot of downs for her.
Ironically, Exile, she's like found something there that she benefited from.
Yeah, and her and her quitting, she just automatically secured a place on the. I mean, I guess she sort of would have had one anyway, but
unfortunately, it wasn't like she went away and then just like, oh, this breathed new life into me. Now I'm running to play the game again. Now it's like, I realized
that's what I thought.
Quit.
That's what I thought might happen, but it was like, no, it was a different realization that she's like, I just don't have it in me. And I was like, okay.
It's kind of like Joe Gardner in Tark Run All Stars 2, if you remember that famous vote out. He got voted out.
I was like, what are you talking about?
He got voted out, and then on the Outcast tribe, he found something that motivated him again.
He found something, and then he was like, that was some epic. That was quite the.
He found his soul.
He found his soul, yeah.
And I'm sure you all get that reference because it was a very historic moment of that season.
Yeah, you should go watch that, by the way.
Tark Run All Stars and Tark Run All Stars 2 are the survivor simulations that we did with a bunch of characters from things we reviewed, so it's fun.
So it's goofy.
Previously, you did a power ranking.
Yep.
Which was Greg, Tom, Ian, Steph, Karen, Katie, and Jen. So with that power ranking, Big Jen should be going home tonight.
You would think so. You would think so, but I don't know.
You would think so. You say.
I would think so, but who's to say? I mean, that's why I put Stephanie in the middle, because I think, despite the fact that I think she might have like a strong opportunity to go home, but I think that she has the ability to do something here. She has an opportunity that she can use. She's got the emotions on her side, I think. So I think she really needs to play that up, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. They were already content to vote her out last time, so
they were.
She's got to change some hearts, change some minds.
Yeah.
All right. So as always, you can go to the link in the description to see the highlights of our reaction, and then come back afterwards for the discussion. Okay.
Yeah. See you then.
There you have it.
That's kind of interesting that she didn't just vote for Tom. But
well, that must be. Hold on. That must be the plan they told him, or told her. She must have thought it was going to be Karen. So interesting. Episode 11, Stephanie voted out. That's why I would have had her at the bottom of the power rankings.
Well, here's the thing. This whole episode lied too about there being. I mean, it didn't really lie, because I think they were actually legitimately considering, or at least floating the option out there. There is an opportunity, because all of the arguments that were presented in this made complete sense for them to switch. It made complete sense for them to switch right now, because doing so, basically, outside of immunities, it basically kind of guarantees them at least jockeying for a position here. The women don't stand a chance now. They absolutely do not stand a chance. And I cannot get in Karen's headspace. I'm not sure what she was thinking exactly.
Well, if it seems from her perspective that she thinks Tom is her closest ally.
She thinks Tom's her closest ally, but what specifically has given her that idea? Because he came to her now, the first time that he's really talked. He's like, well, I've been looking out for you.
That's what I'm saying. She seemed to agree, though. So
yeah, but how has he been looking out for her? They haven't had to worry about this the whole game.
I don't know.
That just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
There's something we're missing there, because for sure, she agreed. It's not like.
It's just like he was just
saying, I've been looking out for you. But she's like, yeah, I mean, know that. I knew you have.
And it just seemed like I said, it just seemed like straight up gaslighting. He's like, Tom, yeah, I stand behind you. And,
so why
you really
did
believe in me?
Yeah, why did you not go with the woman and you side with me instead? That means you trust me more. You understand that I can be trusted more, right?
Yeah, so. It's just it's like, can we? I don't know if we can. Like.
I don't know, Tom. You talk the same way to everybody, Tom.
Yeah, it's Tom.
It's the same level.
It's the same thing, Tom. Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense. I mean, Greg's argument makes complete and total sense. That, yeah. It's like, get rid of her. Like his position.
That's what's sad about the whole decimating Oolong like that. It's like you're setting this person up. Obviously, it looked like they have the best story. Like, obviously, it would be a golden story if she made it to the end after surviving every tribal council in the whole season.
It would be, yeah.
So just like the odds are even more stacked against her overcoming that. So it's like,
there's no way she ever
really
could have really
stacked the deck against her there.
That's like greatest comeback in Survivor history sort of like thing.
Yeah.
Like you would never be able to top that ever. So
so they're just not gonna let her do that.
Yeah. It's like, and that's fine. It makes complete sense if you're, especially for Greg, who's kind of towards the top, kind of in the, but sort of behind the scenes and at the top, I think.
And Chris is the closest thing we've gotten to a story like that. Someone like sneaking by, and like they shouldn't have made it to the end. The one guy, but he did.
Yeah.
But even that, there was a lot more even going into the merge than there was just one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. A lot of stuff out there though, because like we had the plan before that Greg was talking about with Kobe, where it's like we're gonna turn on Tom. So now, like, what's he thinking? I'm wondering. We're in the final 6 now.
Is he thinking about turning on Tom now? Maybe.
Who would we take? Greg, Jen,
Karen.
You need 2 more. Karen's loyal to Tom now.
Karen's loyal to Tom. Did you take Katie? Katie's loyal to Tom. I don't know what he's thinking either. His position in terms of getting rid of Stephanie makes sense for him individually, but like if he had worked together with Stephanie to get rid of Tom, I almost I don't know. I almost felt like would that maybe have helped his odds? Because the problem is she's a strong player too. His closest allies are some of the strongest players in the game, so it's like it's hard to. You got to play those looser, less strength, less sort of optimal players of the game, but they're all loyal to Tom. So it's like I don't really know what you do. I mean, Jen's the only person that is basically loyal to you. You can't really get Ian. Ian seems that he's maybe willing to consider it though. Him and Katie were talking this episode, but
maybe. But he was like mostly probably going to be about his vote.
Yeah.
Seemed like he was deciding whether to turn on him now or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's it feels Boston Rob-esque, doesn't it? Like Tom's like in that position where he's like everybody knows he's a target. Everybody knows he's like at the center of things, but it's like, will they turn on him? Will they not? This is like the question. Because he seems to be in the middle of most things. He's connected to most people in a similar way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's because he's dominated, right? He's been the food provider. He's destroyed everyone in challenges. He's the god of the camp, basically, you know? And it's like, yeah, he's a threat. He's dangerous and he's going to, but we got to keep him around. Like, it's so.
So let's talk about his pitch. So wild. His pitch is so interesting to me. He's like,
don't vote me out due to strength. Like, it was all of us.
He's very professional about how he approaches everything. He's like, I'd hope you would consider that I know I didn't want to show my hand that early, but it came down to the need for Karor to beat Oolong. That's why I performed as well as I did. So would hope you wouldn't hold that against me now, and just I hope I'm not just dead in the water here, you know.
Yeah, not just he's very like, but it was almost like humble brag in a way, where it was sort of like, I was just really strong against them, and I know I did really well, but remember that it's all of us.
And he said no one is won from that position. And he's like, just remember that it's not. You don't have to take me out just because of that. No one is won just from being good at challenges.
Like, okay, that seems like a great idea to get rid of you then. It's like a weird I know
what a story that would be then if we let you get by and then the guy won all these challenges.
Yeah. And it's kind of a weird he's arguing, he's playing. You could argue everything that he's saying in a complete opposite spin.
I mean, I get what he's saying, but it's just like
I do too. But
it's like you did that, so it's like you kind of yourself up in that way.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with it. Like I don't even know if I would have drawn attention to it.
Like the fact that you talked to Stephanie in that way, where he was like, you're just showing yourself to be such a good survivor. So this is kind of hard. I'm looking for crack here, but you're just such a good survivor, so you kind of got this target on your back.
Yeah, it's like we weren't gonna vote you out that time if she had given up. I was like, that is such a lie.
No, he was like, after all that had gone down, like as if he after hearing what her plea at tribal council, I was gonna vote Janu out.
Vote Janu out. No, you weren't. That is such a lie. It is absolutely a bald-faced lie. It's so obvious. But yeah.
But Tom's great.
Tom's great. No, he's entertaining. Because I sort of agree with you. It's a very matter of fact kind of this is how it is. I'm just gonna tell you in my kind of monotone voice, and I'm gonna keep winning challenges. And
the fact that he survived this vote is already that's an accomplishment there. So you would think this would be an opportune moment for someone to take out final 7, take out the guy who wins the challenges, but he had himself insulated enough, at least for now, to where he was able to survive without winning. So good on him. But obviously it is a tough position for him to be at this point, to be that guy, because we've seen his relationship with Ian. He's close with Ian. He's got Katie in that alliance. He's got Greg and Jen in that alliance, and now he's got Karen as his confidant. So
he just has everyone. Everyone's it is Boston Rob to an extent in that regard. where he's brought them all in. And
Greg has already talked about how he needs to get him out. Katie's talked about how she's accepted she'll have to write it down, even though she'll cry when she does it.
She'll cry. I'll cry when I do it. Yeah, but and then meanwhile, Karen's just like, oh, I'm all on board. Tom's gonna take me to the end.
Yeah, so I think that literally, he said it was a good move, but I think this literally might have been what saved him. It seemed like Katie. I mean, it's possible. She said, I was just entertaining it. I wasn't
just entertaining the idea.
I wasn't trying to bring the girls together. I was just entertaining it.
Yeah, but it's like, it did seem to me like her plea in the cave sounded a lot more like, we should do that.
So it might have come down to Karen. Being the one. If she went on board with it, they might have been able to do it.
They might have been able to do it, but not anymore.
But like, he had Karen in his pocket, so she was able to. She was looking out for him. She told him.
The conversation was pretty clutch. Ultimately, I think. And then, I still don't understand what she. Again, I think we have to be missing something, because I just do not understand why she would just trust him completely like that. It just is so, makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. It also just kind of, I mean, I guess if she thinks that he's really gonna take her along, but like, it just doesn't make any sense to me that you would look at the competition. If you wanted to actually get far and win in Survivor, if she actually like legitimately sat down and looked at the competition, does she stand a chance against any of the guys? No. Maybe Ian, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
that's kind of the crazy, cool, interesting thing about this game, though, is because like, when people talk to you and form a bond in that way, it's like you start to allow those blanks, those sort of like blind spots and blanks, to just enter your brain, and you just don't think about them, because you're also running low on food, so you're also running on a survivor diet, so to say. So like, you're not at complete. Your wits are not always going to be on your side. Because of that, you have to try to hone them. You have to try to do that, but some people just kind of allow it not to. It's easy to see when you break it down how blind spots can form in that way, just from like even a simple conversation like that. It's just like, oh, I'm not thinking about it now.
It's interesting how these bonds work, whereas like especially in all Stars, it was like clear to everyone watching. It's like, okay, you got to turn on Boston Rob here. Like, should be doing his final 7, final 5, and they kept going with it. And it's like, what's good, guys?
But they all kind of knew.
It seems like a lot of them aren't playing to win. It's like, you look at it from the outside. It's like, you're not. There's no end game for you here, but they must be seeing it differently from their perspective, to where they think there's an end game, like they could win with this path. It's just hard to see from the outside, and it's like it's wild.
It's really what separates the strategists, like the long-term strategic people, from the rank and file. They think about it when they need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear that Greg is been thinking this whole game, and
Yeah, but like, what is Jen? Like, we got to take Jen's perspective. What is Jen thinking? What is her, like, my plan to win?
I mean, what's
my win condition for Jen?
I mean, she seemed like she was kind of all on board for that if they get Karen, but it was like, we didn't get Karen.
That would have been iconic. It would be iconic if she turned and like actually voted differently than Greg. That would have been an iconic moment for her, for sure.
It would have been. It would have made her actually stand out instead of.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. The fact that Karen didn't agree to, we didn't get to see whether it was actually going to go through, because Katie could have gone back on it easily anyway. It didn't seem like she was.
She could have been like, she might have been like, oh, I don't know about that now. I don't know.
And like, Jen obviously could have caved on that. Like, could have caved at any point, but like, we just saw like clearly Karen went and told Tom, so we didn't even get a chance to try that out. But and that could be huge. That could literally be the whole difference of the game here if like, you swing it one way or another. And obviously for Stephanie, like, the argument is still true. Like, they'd probably be better off keeping Stephanie and working with her in that way. But Stephanie like Stephanie was in a position where any route to get to the end would be fine with her. Like she'd have a winning case against anyone. So it was all just about what's the opening, and that seemed like the best opening for her.
Yeah, because I think it's the best argument for her because of the fact that you have to think about the immunities going forward, and this is the best chance where our numbers on our side would be the best chance that any of us have of winning. So,
well, that being said, who would you name as your MVP for the episode?
Yeah, give it to Stephanie. She tried, man. She tried. She really tried.
Alec, hear me out. You know, I've been a challenge beast all throughout the season, but
Tom,
I really hope you'd not hold that against me and you consider me for this MVP because I think
you're freaking epic, all right, and you've already gotten an MVP.
Did you see me in the Survivor auction? How I waited and I held onto that money to get the
because I kind of knew. I kind of knew that they were going to be letters, so I waited around.
And I started eating that shit. It was good stuff.
I started eating the letters from home.
I didn't even pay for the beer.
They used Willy Wonka's crayon magic.
I got a letter from Willard.
From Willard. There's a letter from Willard. Just being like, I do not have a personality. I'm sorry, I couldn't play this part of the game.
So Stephanie's
out. She's definitely. But she's MVP. Yeah. Yes, Stephanie's out, but she's the MVP. I mean, she was just a gamer this whole time. She was real scrappy. I was rooting for her. And she tried. Gamers rise up, and she really did try to rise up the troops, but couldn't rally around Greg, couldn't rally around Tom. You know, you can't maneuver through those guys at the moment.
She only survived 12 tribal councils or whatever. Not up to snuff.
Which is a lot.
So how would you rank the final six? Your power ranking?
Tom seems to be able to do no wrong. It's like Greg and Tom is like. It depends on the timbre of the episode, I guess. I guess I would say Tom, then Greg. Mm-hmm. Tom, Greg, Ian, Katie, Jen, Karen.
So Karen, by your measurements, should be going home next episode.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Remember, I did say last episode though that Stephanie would be on the bottom did she not have the potential to?
Yeah, but is that a power ranking? You put potential? Isn't power ranking?
I do. I sometimes I do. Sometimes I feel a strong. If there's a strong potential, like a really strong potential, and it was very strong potential this time. Otherwise, I would have put her at the bottom because it just made the most sense.
You had Jen at the bottom. Like, she doesn't have much agency in the game, but also no one's saying Jen should go. Yeah. So it's like.
Well, that's why Karen's at the bottom because now Karen's a little snitch, and also Tom literally just approached her in this episode that we know of, unless that took place like 15 days ago, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. Good episode. There's stuff brewing here.
Stuff brewing. A lot of it was Mr. X, but there's genuine stuff brewing, I think. So there's people trying to figure out when to make the moves that they need to make here to stand a chance against Tom.
Yeah, and you let him get too far. It is dangerous to let him get too far because he could win a bunch.
What is it with Toms in this game? Am I right? Big Tom, Fireman Tom.
What about Big Tom?
I don't know.
In what way are they similar?
They're both Tom. They're both. Their name is both Toms, and they're both like dominant like forces in their respective seasons.
Big Tom, the dominant force.
I mean, he's a dominant force. It's hard to deny that.
All right. Well, that's it.
What would you recommend our viewers go check out after they see this, Zach?
I would recommend you watch the episode of All Stars called Pony Rides Over, where Big Tom gets voted out.
It's a good episode. I like that one a lot.
Glare back at Boston Rob.
It's a freaking epic moment. I like that a lot. I like that moment.
There's so much raw emotion in that season. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's so raw. It's so real.
Raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Boston Rob this season.
Literally everyone. And that's why they voted. That's why they didn't vote for him.
So, all right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Come back for more Survivor Palau next week. Also Survivor 41 I'm doing every week as well. Subscribe to our podcast feed, like the video, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook at Tarkaron TWO. All right.